You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the Minister of National Security addresses the issue of smuggling rings in the northern Bahamas. And a local attorney calls for greater protection of women's rights. Plus, the Minister for Grand Bahama receives a courtesy call from a local sorority. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, smuggling in the northern Bahamas coming to the forefront as a recent allegation surrounding the drowning death of a Bimini resident left his family appealing to members of that community to sound the alarm on this issue. They claim that these rings are a lucrative yet secret illegal market. Tonight, our Jolanda Thompson-Everest speaks with the Minister of National Security on the government's plan to address human smuggling.
Following an interview on ZNS Northern Service, where two brothers called for Biminites to speak up regarding human smuggling and other criminal activity after their brother lost his life in what they claim was an apparent smuggling operation gone bad. We contacted the Minister of National Security, Wayne Monroe, to weigh in on this issue. While he admits that there is a problem with human smuggling in the country, he adds that these persons do not land illegally in Bimini, but Bimini and Grand Bahama are two islands that play a major role in this crime. He says the immigrants come from different parts of the world, then travel to Bimini and Grand Bahama to board a pleasure craft to be smuggled into the United States. He notes that this is why the government is also making plans to expand the Defense Force base on these two northern islands.
Live to that, the authorities are implementing strategies to address that. One of the main strategies the persons in Bimini and Grand Bahama would see is that the Defense Force is decentralized, and its decentralized activities means that we have a base now in Grand Bahama that we intend to make permanent and expand. We have a presence in Bimini, and again, we have plans to make a permanent base in Bimini. And the purpose of those bases will be to address that activity of human smuggling by amalgamation of foreign persons to be trafficked or to be smuggled to the U.S. And of course, in Bimini also to address irregular, unregulated fishing.
The minister explains that residents can play a major role in combating these issues by speaking up and alerting the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and Royal Bahamas Police Force, especially when they see the crime happening right in front of them.
Bimini is a smaller island, so it may be more easily done in Bimini. If you see a bunch of Eastern Europeans show up, if you see a bunch of Chinese show up for a period, you may get to think that they are there for tourism, or you may think that they are there to be smuggled into the U.S. In any event, it is open to then contact the police, contact the Department of Immigration, send an alert so that it could be investigated. It may be more difficult in Grand Bahama because, Grand Bahama is a larger space and would expect to see visitors of more different nationalities than one would expect to see in Bimini.
Minister Monroe believes that these bases will decrease the amount of migrants hoping to be smuggled out of the country and will send a message to persons participating in smuggling rings to cease and desist from these activities. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest.
In other news, one local attorney is highlighting the need for better protection of women's rights in the country as we celebrate International Women's Day. While speaking with our Simone Davis today, attorney Constance McDonald says her primary concern is that women are still not equal in passing on their citizenship to their children. Here's that report.
While recognizing International Women's Day as a focal point in the women's rights movement, local attorney Constance McDonald says women in the Bahamas have a long way to go to reach gender equality, adding that more women's rights protection is required.
There have even been cited cases whereby Bahamian women living abroad, the children come to the Bahamas every holiday, and they themselves identify as Bahamians, yet when they're now time to work, they're turned away because, of course, they're either Canadians or Americans or Canadian, but they're just not Bahamians. And that's a turn off to the children. And especially, I consistently say, the only person who can teach children to be Bahamians are Bahamian women.
The local attorney explains what may be the cause of this issue taking so long to be resolved, mentioning that it is unethical to pass a law that is in contrast with the Constitution.
Unfortunately, like persons are saying, but you can just amend the statute law. No, because the Constitution itself says that any law that is inconsistent with the Constitution is to the extent of the inconsistency void. So therefore, you cannot pass a law that's inconsistent with the Constitution.
McDonald also highlighting the severity of gender-based violence.
I believe that one of the reasons why you have gender-based violence is because women are not projecting or saying themselves as equal. You see, and the men are not accepting them as equal, because when you have two equals, you don't have the difficulties, okay? Take, for instance, myself as a woman. I can't even imagine a situation with me being abused either way, because I have always stood up for myself. Now, not everybody is the same, but you have to learn, women have to learn to stand up for themselves too.
Just last week, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Public Service, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, addressed attendees at the International Black Women's Public Policy Retreat, where he addressed other constitutional issues as it relates to women and citizenship in the Bahamas. Mitchell pledged his dedication to continuously working to solve all citizenship issues in the country.
I'm committed to helping women grow, advance. I am a firm advocate that the citizenship laws have to change. We're hoping that the Privy Council rules shortly on this issue, which is before us, because that would help resolve some of the problems.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
In other news, addressing gender-based violence on Grand Bahama has become the focal point of the National Lead Institute through its Race to Save Our Communities campaign. Jay Philippe has more in this report.
President of the National Lead Institute, Troy Clark, sharing his take on the prevalence of gender-based violence in the Caribbean. Clark says the National Institute has launched its Race to Save Our Communities, community school, and gender-based violence prevention program on the island of Grand Bahama next month at 2 locations in the Freeport area and the 8 Mile Rock district.
Now, on April 15, the Institute kicks off this initiative with our stakeholders, the International Society of Substance Use Professionals, and hopefully the Department of Social Services, where we will be hosting a gender-based violence or violence against women and children workshop, and it's going to be free for the entire community. What we are doing is targeting corporate Grand Bahama, and because they have supported us financially, we want them to send out 2 or 3 of their staff members.
Clark also weighing in on the recent incident involving death threats at Bishop Michael Eldon School. He says there are at-risk factors that may cause young persons in our communities to behave in such ways.
These risk factors span all 5 social development sectors. You have the family, you have peer group, you have school, you have individual characteristics, and you have community conditions. And some of those risk factors that young people can gravitate towards gang prior delinquency, illegal gun ownership, drug trafficking, a desire for group rewards such as status, identity, self-esteem, companionship, and protection, antisocial attitudes, aggression, alcohol and drug use, early early sexual activities.
Later in April, the Institute plans to provide facilitators certification training in basic counseling skills and crisis prevention for community stakeholders. The training will equip facilitators with the skills necessary to help reduce violence within our communities.
Protective factors that I had to mitigate against those risk factors. I went to Sunday school. I attended Boys Brigades, Royal Ambassadors. I went to Sunday school. And so those things were the mitigating factors that actually helped me not to succumb to those risk factors, getting involved in the gang lifestyle. And that is what many of our young people face today on the island of Grand Bahama. If we don't address the risk factors, single parenting, aggressiveness, early initiation of violent behaviors within the school, like we saw just the other day with threats.
International Women's Day is celebrated annually on March 8th, and the Lead Institute is making it a focal point in the women's rights movement to bring attention to issues such as gender equality, reproductive rights, and violence and abuse against women. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jay Philippe.
District Superintendent of Grand Bahama, Bimini, and the Keys, Ivan Butler, says there is no major concern when it comes to crime in schools. However, he laments that the community plays a pivotal role in student behavior.
The schools reflect what is happening in our communities. And so anytime there's an uptick in violence in the communities, we see similar activity in our schools.
Butler says parents must do their part to prevent such violence occurring within the schools.
We want parents to know that our schools are safe. We have a safe school policy and plan in place to deal with any issues. And we just encourage parents to be more involved in their children's lives, because many of the problems that we have in the schools are results of, lack of parental guidance. And so we encourage our parents to be more involved in the lives of their children, and thus we'll have a better and safer school.
Switching gears now, a local sorority paying a special courtesy call to the Minister of Grand Bahama this past weekend, hoping to facilitate a union to provide safety for victims of domestic abuse. The Grand Bahama Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated hoping to form a partnership with COLAB to create that safe haven. Shane Stubbs has more in this report.
The dynamic ladies of the Grand Bahama Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated paying a courtesy visit to the Minister for Grand Bahama this past Saturday. The group discussed the possibility of partnership through COLAB and strengthen ties through social action and rehabilitation programs on the island. While touring the Restoration Village in the back of town area, President of the Grand Bahama Alumni Chapter and Lean On Me Sister Domestic Violence Group, Arlie Thompson, says this potential collaboration would be beneficial for those women in need.
I think the most important nugget from our meeting today was to find out that the Minister's COLAB initiative brings all pertinent and responsible parties together so that decisions can be made and actual progress can be made. I am so gladdened to see in the short time of her ministry, they have an entire village that has already been brought together. We heard the testimonies of some of the recipients of our program, and we plan to continue this conversation in future meetings to develop a strong rehabilitation and safe house process for the Bahamas.
One of the goals is to provide adequate safety for domestic violence victims. Ad hoc Committee Chairman Fanita Harris says their hope is to find a long-term partner to help those victims get back on their feet.
Domestic abuse can be generational, and that's one thing we want to stop. We want to provide a system that will help families get back on their feet, because there's nothing like not feeling safe within your own home. So our program is there to help those who are underserved and need the assistance.
After this initial meeting, the Honorable Ginger Moxie believes they are on the right track and look forward to future meetings to solidify the Safe House initiative.
We have a powerful unit here. We're going to work together. We're going to meet as early as next week to, set the stage in motion to make all these things happen. There's so many people who are hurting out there who need these types of programs, and I'm excited to know that Delta and Lean On Me have stepped up to the plate, and we're going to support them fully.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
An outlook of Grand Bahama's economy and growth will be the focus of discussion during the 2023 Grand Bahama Business Outlook Forum. The details of that story and more right after this.
Madison has in store for you. renovate, and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
As the country celebrates the 50th anniversary of independence, we salute Bishop Cleophas Capron on his birthday and being the band director at the first independence celebration. Happy heavenly birthday, and may his soul continue to rest in peace.
Discover the benefits of goal setting for children ages 7 to 12. Join the 2-day goal setting workshop at Let's Talk Etiquette on March 18th and 19th Queens Highway.
Join Honorable Jo Beth Colby Davis, Minister of Transport and Housing and Member of Parliament for Elizabeth, for a town meeting on March 13th at 2 p.m. at Latter-day Outreach Ministries in McLeanstown and at 6 p.m. at Mount Zion Baptist Church in 8 Mile Rock. This meeting is particularly relevant to boaters.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The future of Grand Bahama's economy and plans for the island's growth will be the focus of the 2023 Grand Bahama Business Outlook set for March 16th. President of the Councilors Limited, Joanne Albury, announcing that it will be held back in person at the Grand Lucayan Ballroom and on Zoom with a cross-sector of panelists, including the Deputy Prime Minister, Chester Cooper. Jolanda Thompson-Everest reports.
Excited to be back in person is Joan Albury and her colleagues as they prepare to stage diverse presentations from various speakers in different commerce roles. She explains what persons can expect while networking with those from the business world at the Grand Bahama Business Outlook.
Our conference is divided into these sessions. The first session is Forward, which deals with basically moving ahead with purpose and intent. How do we move ahead with purpose and intent? Then our second session, which is Upward, soaring to economic advancement and diversification. And the third session, Onward, is prioritizing the sustainable revolution. And our final session of the day, which is Together, facilitating stakeholder engagement for success.
Other speakers, including the Minister of Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, amongst many others.
Following the presentation by the panel, we are pleased to have Devison Warner, who is the Managing Director of RBC Finco and the AVP of Personal Banking Finance Corporation. He is going to talk about embracing the digital future of financial services. And we all know that this is the way of today, not just the future. This embracing the digital future, which really begins today. And so we're excited to have the Devison Warner, Managing Director, RBC, present.
Albury says that the Outlook is a great opportunity to hear from experts and leaders in their profession to bring updated information on various sectors.
So it provides you with current information and data, and you know the importance of information and data in guiding your business. Thank you. And there's always something new.
Now, Albury is asking for all those interested to register on tclevents.com, and she says persons can get credit hours from attending the event. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest.
Well, the Grand Bahama Road Traffic Department under the Ministry of Transport and Housing is celebrating road safety with a number of initiatives the entire week. Staff from the Road Traffic Department along with the officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force came together at the Ranfurly Circle where they distributed cards that had tips for pedestrians and motorists. Joining staff was Deputy Controller of the Road Traffic Department on Grand Bahama, Kevin Mortimer.
We know that last year there was some 59 fatalities in the Bahamas, and Grand Bahama had a few fatalities here also. So we want to encourage members of the public to slow down, stay alive. So this week we intend to educate. We intend to have a couple of radio talk shows. We intend to also visit several schools. There's also a virtual show that will be put on from Nassau and with the Minister for Transport and Housing with ZNES, and that's expected to be very, very live and provocative. There's also a membership appreciation or customer appreciation week. We're also having 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday, for customer appreciation for those who come to the Road Traffic Department. There'll be some treats and surprises for them. On Sunday, there will be a church service which ends the week of our activities.
Now, according to Mortimer, Safety Week was mandated by the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, the Honorable Philip Brave Davis, under the theme Slow Down, Stay Alive. The idea is to limit traffic accidents throughout the Commonwealth by alerting motorists on the do's and don't in regards to road safety.
Driving without using your cell phone, being attentive on the road, speeding, wearing your seatbelt. As pedestrians, ensure that you look left and right before crossing the road to ensure there's no oncoming traffic. We ask parents to ensure your kids buckle in their safety restraining seats in the back of the vehicle. We also ask members of the public to adhere to the speed limits and use your signals when turning. Do not overtake on hills, do not overtake on curves. So these are some of the tips that are featured on the card itself. And just to remind all of us that if you drive in a safe manner, you can save a life.
We're just happy the partnership with the Road Traffic Department, and we are now advising the public to slow down and drive. The life you save might be your very own.
Well, March 8th is celebrated as International Women's Day, and in recognition of such, the International Federation of Lawyers, FIDA Grand Bahama chapter, joins with the United Nations and the world in celebrating the tremendous efforts by women and girls shaping a more equal future for a sustainable tomorrow. President Jesslyn Burrows says this year they are celebrating a woman deemed a pillar in the Grand Bahama community. Counsel and attorney at law, Veronica Grant.
On this International Women's Day 2023, FIDA Grand Bahama chapter proudly celebrates and salutes a woman who continues to make a positive impact on the lives of women and children, an unsung heroine, a master motivator, a woman who's held in very high esteem by her colleagues, an advocate for embracing equity, eminent counsel and attorney, at law, Veronica D. Grant.
Thank you. FIDA Grand Bahama chapter was established in 1993 with Veronica Grant as one of its founding members. After 30 years of existence, she remains a committed and consistent member. Grant says she is proud to be honored in such a way by the chapter.
It's very humbling. We women can be very hard. We could be very critical. And to be honored by a group of my peers is indeed humbling for me. I find it almost to the point where it makes me emotional, but I'm very pleased at the accolades they've paid me, and I thank them for it.
Your Wednesday Sports Check is up next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to sports. It is that time of the year, track and field season. Here's Shane Stubbs.
Invictus Athletics hosting a throwers clinic this past weekend with the help of national throwing coach Corrington Maycock.
Thanks to Claudel McNabb, Coach McNabb, and Coach Dion Britton. We just came to see what talent Grand Bahama has to offer. And based on working with the kids from yesterday evening and this morning, there's some talent here.
The athletes, they're having a great time. Yesterday they did discuss, and only one person in the group, well, two persons in the group had experience in throwing. This morning, most of these kids, they're like runners, 100, 200, 400, but they're now enjoying, that aspect of track and field.
Andy says the clinic showed the importance of being multifaceted and had a great time working with Maycock.
They always believe to have a complete team or complete institution, you should have both track and field events. So Maycock is, I would say, the best right now in throws.
For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Switching gears now in sports, it's the month of March, which means it's ZNS Northern Service Healthy Lifestyle Month with a slew of events the entire month.
We teamed up with the 50th anniversary, Independence anniversary, ZNS Northern Service, and we're going to join hands with them for our 24th Healthy Lifestyle campaign. It's slated for March 25th at 6 a.m. Of course, we'll have the warm-up at 5:30 as usual. It's going to be held right here at the Harold de Gregory Complex beginning at 6 a.m. and we take off. The race itself, Healthy Lifestyles, will be a fun event. And when I say fun, it's going to be a non-registration fee event.
Anyone can come. You just have to register before the 25th. Also, when you come on that day, you can wear your national colors and sign up. We'll be giving prizes to the first female and male that finishes. We'll also have the oldest and the youngest across the line, so everyone will feel included. We will also have prizes for the largest group. So if you're a part of any civic organizations, any religious organizations, schools, churches, whatever it may be, come out and sign up and run together.
And finally in sports, after 2 days of competition so far at the Fidelity Bank High School Island Sports, Jack Haywood Junior leads in the junior division, followed by 8 Mile Rock, Tabernacle, and Sister Mary Patricia. Now in the senior division, Jack Haywood again leads by 1 point over Tabernacle, St. George's and Sunland right behind in 3rd and 4th place, respectively. Looking forward to Friday and Saturday at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex, and that's all I have for you, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Hi, I'm Wes. I'd like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
John West Shoes is now open. Carmichael West, Nassau, behind Wendy's.
It's the coconut got this, cocoa skin dripping madness, juiciness ice the back this, sweet like a sugar in a dripping like ice honey, addict all of my love me, sweet like a sugar in a watch it go ba 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 ba, 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 sweet like a sugar in a
New Clear Platinum flavor. Flavored beers with a kick of rum. Make it platinum.
Dr. Akazi and the team at Town Care Medical Center offers a variety of medical services to people of all ages. They provide family and general medical care, annual checkups, health certificates, and minor surgeries. Their office is located in the former Geneva's building close to New Image, making it easily accessible. They're open from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Monday to Friday, and 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. You can call 352-1382 or email towncaremedicalcenter@yahoo.com.
Our lives are full of action. Hey, babe.
From the studio to the video to back home.
All while balancing family life.
BTC Fiber Internet is our solution.
BTC is best for us. Hello?
With fiber, we save more on fast, reliable internet. And we can prove it.
Go to BTC's website and compare for yourself.
Select your current product, price, and location.
You'll see how much you can save with BTC.
Link up with better value.
Link up with BTC.
On your marks, get set, go!
Grand Bahama. Get ready for the most highly anticipated track meet of the year. Island Relays Bahamas. It all begins Friday, March 17th at 4 p.m. and climaxes on Saturday, March 18th at 9 a.m. at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex, featuring 6 universities: University of Oklahoma, University of Arizona, Texas A&M University, University of the Bahamas, University of South Carolina, and Vanderbilt University. Calling all corporations to join the Corporate Challenge. Tickets are just $10 for ages 16 and over and $5 for kids. On March 17th and 18th, Island Relays Bahamas is the event you don't want to miss. Contact 439-6161 or email info@islandrelaysbahamas.com for more information. In lieu with Island Relays Bahamas, take part in all activities at Pirates Cove March 18th. Proceeds go to the Red Cross.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Joshua Williams, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We also want to wish you a special happy birthday. And we say thank you for always watching. We do appreciate your support. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, RCI deal approved. Strong spring bookings for downtown hotel. Embracing equity and empowerment. And in sports, Bahamians ready for March Madness. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by BTC. For the fastest speeds across the Bahamas and the lowest price by far, switch to BTC today.
Happy International Women's Day, everyone. I'm Makush Lapinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Another shot in the arm for the top industry as work on Royal Caribbean's $110 million beach club project on Paradise Island is set to begin soon, as foreshadowed today by Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis. The project is expected to create hundreds of jobs during the construction and operational phases. Furthermore, Bahamians will be invited to invest in the multi-million-dollar project and hold equity of up to 49%, with the remainder held by RCI. Once completed, the development's expected to offer gas, beach and water sport activities, as well as Bahamian entertainment and retail experiences.
We approved the project to ensure that Bahamian participation is maximized, that Bahamian opportunities are maximized. From the timeline that was given, they intend to start breaking ground almost immediately. It hopefully will be started because part of the challenges that we have in the country today is what we call attractions for tourism. Very often, on any given day, we could have up to 30,000 tourists in our port, and there has to be attractions for them. This will be one of the other attractions that will be available to them.
Meantime, the 150-room Margaritaville Beach Resort's boasting strong bookings 3 months into the new year as it reaps the benefits of spring break. While it has not been in operation on the Bay Strip long, it opened its doors July 2021. The resort's managing director, Craig Martin, says business is seeing a boost with much of the COVID-19 pandemic in the past.
Margaritaville Beach Resort's been doing a great job, and business has been picking up day by day by day. So last year was really our first year coming out of COVID. You know, things weren't clicking as they should be. This year, we're sold out until after Easter. The hotel's busy, it's packed. And I think in my little speech earlier, I was just mentioning a lot of it's thanks to the women we have on staff that run our sales department, our catering department, our international sales department, our travel agent department, our revenue department, all run by strong women in the hotel.
Now, while college students are also in the country enjoying their traditional breaks from studying, Martin says the resort is also benefiting from that business and is making the most of it.
So this year we opened up the British Colonial Beach that's adjacent to our hotel we're in right now. In British Colonial Beach, we've been getting a good crowd, 200 or 300 people over there a day celebrating spring break. So we do see some spring breakers in the hotel, and of course we're next to Junkanoo Beach, which caters to the spring breakers, but also we have the great British Colonial Beach, which is open to all the spring breakers.
Now, while hotel occupancy rises downtown, Nassau Cruise Port officials anticipate the increasing number of local cruise passengers experience an updated Bay Street once the cruise port officially opens next month. This is Nassau Cruise Port CEO and Director Mike Mora Jr. laments that some Bay Street stores still need repair. Still, he's pleased Bay Street operators are getting ready for this multi-million-dollar venture.
An opportunity, you know, and you've got one chance at a first impression, right? And so let's all come together. Not everybody's finances are the same. It's not as simple as someone going out and getting $100,000 because they went through hell for 2.5 years. But do what you can, and if you just do a little bit more than you did yesterday, we'll all be in better shape.
While regional tourism has had to contend with a whole lot in recent years, high inflation, the ongoing war in Ukraine, and talk of a recession. Yet despite it all, the outlook for Caribbean travel and tourism is said to be favorable. That outlook coming from the Caribbean Tourism Organization, whose figures show one of the quickest recovery rates globally in 2022, 28.3 million tourist visits, 88.6% of 2019's visitors. There was an estimated 28.1% increase in visitors from the U.S. market last year, while arrivals from the European market jumped by 81%. However, travel restrictions early 2022 hindered the Canadian market's more robust recovery. Figures show that this slowed at 60%. According to CTO's acting Secretary General Neil Walters, nearly 90% of the region's travel demand for 2019 has already been recovered, with destinations like Curacao, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, St. Martin, Turks and Caicos, and the U.S. Virgin Islands already surpassing pre-pandemic levels. Walters is confident this recovery will continue this year, albeit at a slower rate. Riding high on its own success, the Bahamas pulled in nearly 1 million visitors this past January compared to the 300,000 during the same period in 2022. In other news, the Petroleum Retailers Association calling an emergency meeting to discuss long-standing issues in the face of increasing fuel prices. Though sworn to secrecy, the association's vice president, Vasco Bastian, did share this.
Stay tuned. There was some good stuff that came out of there, but I cannot really say at this time. We are very, very happy. We had a 95% turnout.
Well, it's been a key source of revenue generation for decades, adding billions to the public purse. The Bahamas Customs and Excise Department will celebrate its 109th anniversary on March 21st. And while it has gone through many transformations, Assistant Comptroller of Customs Claretta Gomez says it continues to play an important role in protecting the country's borders from illicit imports and exports, facilitating legitimate trade, and also being responsible for the equitable collection of revenue.
Over the years, we have been known as the major collectors of revenue up to the implementation of the collection of that. We have been known to collect in an estimate of about $1 billion annually of revenue. So I can say that our role is there to substantiate the revenue collection for the Bahamas government.
As the agency marks its anniversary, a number of activities will be held. Gomez says Customs have also adopted the T.A. Thompson Primary School that it will assist with picnic benches. Also looking to grow, Gomez, who acknowledges there have been staff challenges, says the plan is to add to the staff complement throughout the year here in New Providence and Grand Bahama.
And what we're doing now is there will be an addition to our staff of over 160 personnel. We've also been working hard on becoming a modernized department. So we are now bringing ourselves up to best practice standards with customs throughout the world. So we are proud to say that we have implemented a lot of training exercises, and we have built capacity within our department. So as we saw the challenges and we saw the needs, we worked hard on correcting them.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Our lives are full of action. Hey, babe.
From the studio to the video to back home.
All while balancing family life.
BTC Fiber Internet is our solution.
BTC is best for us. Hello?
With fiber, we save more on fast, reliable internet. And we can prove it.
Go to BTC's website and compare for yourself.
Select your current product, price, and location.
You'll see how much you can save with BTC.
Link up with better value.
Link up with BTC.
Because they were on sale, Keisha bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? Come and satisfy that hunger at KFC before doing something crazy. Snack Box for only $5 with a piece of juicy KFC fried chicken, creamy mashed potato, and the buttery biscuit. A finger-licking good deal.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Bahamians are rediscovering Grand Bahama through immersive staycation experiences at Lighthouse Point Grand Lucaya. Pamper yourself at our Senses Spa or savor exotic cocktails by the sea. Unwind and enjoy serenity, 18 holes of golf, fine dining, romance, business conventions and meetings, grand outdoor events. For Bahamas resident rates at Lighthouse Point, call 242-373-1333 or WhatsApp message 827-8195.
4 people of interest arrested in connection with Monday night's double homicide in Fox Hill. Detectives say the suspects range in ages 18 to 25 years. Police also confirming that they're conducting active inquiries into the incident. As officials told reporters on the scene, the victims were shot to death around 8:45 p.m. just north of the Fox Hill Community Park. One of the men was on bail for several murders, reigniting the call for the Bail Act to be reformed. Member of Parliament for Fox Hill, the Honourable Frederick Mitchell, was among those at Monday night's crime scene. He extended condolences to the victims' families in his daily social media message.
This year makes 10 years since that for those 4 people, Junkanouers, were killed on the Freedom Park in Fox Hill, and no one has been brought to justice for it. Everyone whispers a theory, a name, a reason. But no one has the answer, it seems, to stopping these scenes of violence over and over again. My hat's off, really, to the police for their work. My condolences to the families. I will continue, of course, to do the things that make for peace and build up the common life.
Still on crime news, a couple to answer some serious questions after police executed a search warrant on their Maxwell Lane Rock Crusher home Tuesday evening and found drugs, more specifically marijuana-infused cookies, as well as a quantity of marijuana itself. The drugs weighed in at just under 5 pounds with an estimated street value of $4,800. As for the cookies, that's another $5,375. Police, meantime, are keen on finding the culprit behind an early morning armed robbery. As the story goes, the victim was assisting a family member to a home in the Soldier Road area around 12:30 a.m. when a masked gunman dressed in dark clothing assaulted him to the face and robbed him of a cell phone before running off. The matter's under active investigation. Well, two groups of illegal migrants boarding chartered flights for their homeland. The first leaving the Lynden Pinling International Airport after 8 this morning. On board the flight UP901 to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, or 130 Haitian nationals, 116 of them men, 12 women, and 2 minors. Just before 10 a.m., a Southern Air flight left for Cap-Haitien, Haiti, with another 4 Haitians, 3 men, and a woman. The department's deportation and enforcement units led both escorts. Well, we now turn our attention to news from the political scene. Opposition leader Michael Pintard speaking out for the first time on claims there's division within the ranks of the Free National Movement. His comments following 2 F&M constituency meetings Tuesday night, one in Centerville, the other in Garden Hills. Those meetings held amidst rumors former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis was instructed not to speak at any more constituency meetings.
And so what I'm doing is seeking to repair the associations that ran into significant difficulties before the last general election, and to make sure that they are battle ready in every one of our constituencies. And so, again, my role is hold the government accountable, rebuild the credibility of the party on the ground with constituents, and then also in my own constituency to make sure that Marco City is strong. And so that's the business that I'm about.
Now, when asked if he has the support of Dr. Minnis, Pintard gave this response.
I am fully in control of the Free National Movement, and the team supports my leadership fully.
Following his address to Garden Hills constituents last evening, former Prime Minister Hubert Minnis fielded his own set of questions from reporters, and this despite maintaining he doesn't air the party's business in public.
It's a party. It's the organization. Scott Pintard is the leader. I respect leadership. If I'm invited to speak, I speak.
Well, as China hosts the first of 2 lengthy sessions for its 14th National People's Congress, hundreds of journalists from across the world have gathered to observe the country's high-level political event. Just yesterday, the press had the opportunity to sit down with China's foreign minister, who had quite a bit to say about China's relations in the region. Our Anthony Smith is in China. She filed this report.
We will take multilateralism as the way forward. We will promote the building of a community with a shared future for mankind, promote greater democracy in international relations, and make global governance more just and equitable.
Those are the thoughts of China's new Foreign Minister Qin Gang as he outlines the country's stance on foreign policy going forward. His comments coming at a briefing with press at the Media Center in Beijing on the sidelines of what is the first session of China's 14th National People's Congress.
We've pressed the acceleration button and sounded the clarion call for our diplomacy.
A call the foreign minister made clear he's extending beyond just world powers.
Developing countries account for more than 80% of the global population and more than 70% of global economic growth. People in developing countries are entitled to a better life, and developing countries are entitled to greater representation and a louder voice in international affairs. As President Xi Jinping pointed out, whether China and the United States can handle their relationship well bears on the future of the world. Getting the relationship right is not optional, but something we must do and must do well.
Now, as for when the Chinese foreign minister will address in depth China-Caribbean ties is still unknown, but is a topic we will follow as the first of China's 2 sessions continue. In China, for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Antoine Smith.
Well, now time for the weekly poll question, and this week we're asking, should repatriation exercises be extended to more family islands, yes or no? To participate, simply log on to our website, and that's www.znesbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. The poll's final results will be aired on Friday, and as always, thanks for participating. The National Report returns after this.
International Women's Day for me is a very important day. And what is so significant about the day is that it's a day that we pause and we think about women, and we think about the success and the achievements that women have made over the years. We think about the strides despite opposition and the way that we've overcome. And this year's theme, Embracing Equity, for me goes a very long way, because it allows each and every one of us to think outside of ourselves, to look at everyone for who they are, to appreciate all the unique attributes about them, and then to champion a cause, to gather allies, to think the same way, and to embrace equity in every way, shape, and form. So for me, I'm very excited about this year's theme, and I'm very excited to celebrate the achievements of women within the Ministry of Tourism Investments and Aviation, within the industry of tourism in the Bahamas, and the Bahamas at large. We have the strongest, brightest, and most intelligent women, and I applaud each and every one of them. Happy International Women's Day.
March Madness begins with crazy good specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Par Excellence rice, 5 pounds, $3.99. Rainbow corned beef, 12 ounce, 2 for $5. Libby spaghetti and meatballs, 15 ounce, $1.39. Mazola cooking oil, 40 ounce, $5.39. Cheddar cheese, $4.69 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
A salute to all women as the world pauses to celebrate and promote their achievements on this International Women's Day. This year's theme, Digital, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. And down at the Department of Gender and Family Affairs, social services reps believe women and girls need to access information through communication technology, not only for personal use, but to enable women to compete successfully as entrepreneurs in the local economy and girls in their pursuit of education. As the country approaches its golden anniversary, the ministry recognizes the achievements of Bahamian women for their invaluable contributions to nation building. Social Services and Urban Development Minister, the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe, says His ministry is committed to advancing women and girls in every area of their lives, including technology. While Minister Wilczcombe was in New York today, taking the country's message on female empowerment there to the United Nations Commission. Wilczcombe boasted at the time that the Bahamas is proud the President of the Senate, Speaker of the House of Assembly, 5 cabinet ministers, and the majority of permanent secretaries are all women. Minister Wilczcombe, however, decried that crimes of violence against women and girls are still too frequent, especially in the context of domestic relationships, adding that an increase in sexual assaults, particularly young girls, were a disappointing and tragic feature of the lockdowns during the COVID-19 pandemic. He's happy to report, though, that NGOs and citizen groups have become more vocal and more active in championing opportunities, rights, and protections for women and girls. Minister Wilczcombe further revealed that the Bahamas launched a number of initiatives at every stage of education to better equip Bahamians to participate in the digital technological innovations. Well, meantime, Women of Zonta International, Caribbean Women in Leadership, or CWIL, Erin Brown Connects Disability Advocacy and Inclusion Management, and Women United are reiterating their deep distress to the growing number of sexual offenses in country, venting their concerns in a release. The groups calling for unequivocal condemnation of these acts. The women, however, commend the police officers as well as the Director of Public Prosecutions and his team for conducting investigations without regard or favor to the employment or status of the accused. There's also shared appreciation for the role magistrates and judges play in ensuring that upon conviction, sentences befitting these kinds of crimes are meted out to criminals. Further, praise and commendation extended to the brave victims and their family members who come forward to ensure that predators and offenders are prosecuted and not cloaked and protected. Well, as part of International Women's Day, wife of the Prime Minister, Anne-Marie Davis, visited several centers catering to the needs of all women. LaDawn Davis has all the highlights in this report.
Purple signifies dignity, green is for hope, and white represents purity. These colors reign supreme on this International Women's Day by Bahamian women across this country. Decked out in their colors, wife of the Prime Minister Anne-Marie Davis and Minister of State for Social Services, the Honorable Lisa Ramming, spent the morning with the elderly at the Purses Rogers for the Aged. And while they're both distinguished women in their own right, they brought with them words of encouragement and presented a plaque and flowers to all the female caregivers and members of staff.
We cannot forget our elderly. We cannot forget the people that brought us here, the people that helped to build this nation. As we call the women, the bedrock of the society.
And I feel so good to be among the seniors, because oftentimes people forget about them. And I look at them as I'm the daughter of them, and they're the mothers of Zion. I'm the daughter of Zion. And so I feel great, even as a government. We want them to know that we love them and we care for them. And, you know, it's also a clarion call to all that when you have time, come on down to the Purses Rogers home and contribute.
Administrator Frances Ledee reminisced and thanked all of the Bahamian women who have paved the way for her during her career and tenure at the Home for the Elderly.
She said, "You're a young woman, you're a young social worker, I'm drawing you in." I say, "Monroe, all of my friends are married. All of my friends are here, there, and everywhere. I ain't ready yet." She said, "You will be ready because I'm taking you in." And that is where I have been with her in a voluntary capacity.
The Bahamas Crisis Center was the second stop. Founder Dr. Sandra Dane Patterson reflected on the work being done at the center by women and what this day truly means.
This work that we do is often unrecognized. You know, our work is for the voiceless, persons who don't talk about what they live with and what they experience. We see the pain, we see the devastation, we see the self-blame, and we see the shaming that people feel as a result of what's happened to them.
Elijah's Hilltop Cottage Ministries also got the royal treatment from wife of the Prime Minister and Minister of State for Social Services. Several other centers received that warm welcome to commemorate why women run the world. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDawn Davis.
Well, FNM leader Michael Pintard also applauding and encouraging the contributions of women, and that's the world over. In a statement, he stressed the need to strive for a world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination on this International Women's Day. Pintar touted the introduction of paid maternity leave by the 1992 F&M administration as arguably one of the most significant protection afforded to working mothers. He also acknowledged that many inequities between men and women still exist in the Bahamas and that the Bahamas needs to recommit from removing gender discrimination from legislation. The Department of Local Government to meantime honor a number of women who've contributed significantly to the local government arena. Among them, Island Administrator and Second Officer in Charge of Local Government, Therese Boodle-Lang.
We know that women have a very important role to play in every strata of our society. And so our role is to simply be there to inspire another generation of women to take up their rightful places in society. So wherever there is something to be done to advance this nation, we feel like women should be there.
Provided more insight on how many women will be honored.
We're going to honor 26 women. We have our Pioneering Award for those who were the first, like our first Chief Consular, our first FIA, as well as resilient women who held the fort and managed the disaster in Abaco and in Grand Bahama. We want to recognize their achievement, their resilience, and say that, you know, they did not buckle under pressure, but they led their communities. And that is the story we want to tell about women in local government and in this country.
Still on International Women's Day, the Bahamas Telecommunications Company also taking time out to pay special recognition to females during a watch party where they connected with their colleagues via Zoom. BTC's Chief Executive Officer, Samir Bhatti, says as a corporate entity that continues to be built on the contributions of its female employees, they have to pay respects.
This event is so significant to us to recognize all the accomplishments of women in society and here at BTC, and to reflect on those accomplishments. You know, 60% of BTC is women. And the majority of our senior leadership team at BTC is also women. We're proud of that, and we believe that reflects our society, and we're proud to continue those numbers moving higher.
Sherelle Monker is among the 60% of women assisting in running BTC as its operations manager.
As a woman, getting to that role was not easy within BTC because this is a technical environment. And it was not easy. Still isn't easy for women in terms of equality, the opportunities, ensuring that you have the skill set. For me, within BTC, I've seen the growth, I've seen the change. We understand where we need to be. We understand where we're going as women. And one of the things for us is always looking out to pull each other up, ensuring that we be good examples for other women.
Kalina Insurance Company putting its money where its mouth is. Kalina's female execs today presenting check donations to local organizations they say focus on protecting and empowering women. It's an initiative Kalina undertakes annually. Director of Kalina's Corporate Communication, Maxine Seymour.
At Kalina, we strive to create a gender-equal workplace, void of stereotypes and bias, where inclusion is embraced and diversity is celebrated. Our company's success is driven by women who comprise 80% of our employees and agents and 72% of the supervisors, managers, and executives who lead the charge. We encourage everyone to embrace equity as we work together to end discrimination and promote gender parity.
Now, among the organizations receiving donations of $5,000 providing access to continued education or PACE, the Crisis Center and the Zonta Club of New Providence.
We need to continue to fight for equality with our girls at PACE. And our girls really are at the top of the market for inequality. When our students get pregnant, our girls, they are placed in PACE and the boys are allowed to remain in school. Is that equality? It's not. And so today, a day like today, it helps us to face the reality that inequality, it's there, and it's real. And places like Kalina and other agencies who support PACE and continue to support PACE throughout the years made the fight a little easier.
We've done great things throughout the world, but we have not done sufficient where we are equal with our counterpart. And so on this day, we want to recognize that, yes, we have accomplished much and we have done much, but still there is much more to be done.
We are very appreciative that Kalina, in its wisdom, has added us to their recipient list this year. And it is also most fitting that the presentation is being done on International Women's Day. As in Zonto, we are about uplifting the status of women, not just here in the Bahamas, but throughout the world.
The University of the Bahamas Alumni Association teaming up with Crypto Isles Bahamas to celebrate International Women's Day during a reception last evening. The event recognizing scores of women for their work and role towards national development. Chair of the UB Alumni Association, Jasmine Roma Roll, speaks to its significance.
It just gives us an opportunity to pause, celebrate women in general, but also take a look at the matters that are of concern for women locally and also internationally. We obviously know, like this year, the theme is about embracing gender equity, and I think we need to work more as it regards gender equity, pushing the boundaries. We know that, women are super capable.
Co-founder of Crypto Isles, Davinia Bain, says her organization was thrilled to partner with the university to celebrate the strides of women throughout the country.
I love the institution. I've been a part of the institution way back in the day when I was a student and even as a professional, so it was a natural fit for us to partner. The point is that we all think it's important for women to get together and celebrate our successes, celebrate the way we help each other achieve those, and celebrate the other people that help us achieve things. There's no woman without a man and no.
Well, on a more somber note, Governor General His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Cornelius Smith, and Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis among those filing into Butler's funeral home and crematorium this morning to sign the book of condolences for hotelier and businessman George Myers. Myers died peacefully at his home last month. He was 83. The Prime Minister says Jamaican-born Myers was a naturalized Bahamian who leaves behind a lasting legacy in the hotel and business arenas.
To memorialize his contribution, particularly in the tourism industry, which is the heart of our economy. And he, no doubt, was one of the icons in the tourism field that helped crop up and make the Bahamas what it is today. Whenever we speak about the Bahamas and it being better in the Bahamas, you'll associate that with George Myers. So I was pleased to have been able to, last October, to give him one of our nation's top awards. And I'm very grateful that he was a part of us.
Sharing similar sentiments, opposition leader, the Honorable Michael Pintard, who lauded Myers' contributions to country.
He was an incredible entrepreneur, and so since I was very young, I've always followed the various enterprises that he was responsible for. And one of the things that fascinated me as a young person is the fact that he spoke candidly about what his views were on matters. And oftentimes persons have no difficulty receiving your contributions, but they often want it without commentary. And I believe he was good to all sides of the politics in our country, but he was also quite candid. The second thing is he managed to navigate criticisms very well. There are a lot of us who become sensitive based on what the commentary is in the market. but he managed to allow many things to roll off his back and continue doing the work that he was engaged in.
TCL Group and Cable Bahamas Business Solutions present Grand Bahama Business Outlook 2023 under the theme Forward, Upward, Onward, Together. Our keynote speaker is the Honorable Chester Cooper, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation. Come join us at the Grand Lucayan Resort on Thursday, March 16th or attend via Zoom. Register today at tclevents.com.
Searching for insurance for your beloved senior citizen? Star General offers the Silver Medical Plan for which you can apply up to age 85. The network includes the finest hospitals and healthcare centers worldwide. Insurance is provided through an AM Best A-rated insurer with reinsurance support through Lloyd's of London. Other features include no medical tests required, 4 deductibles, and $2 million lifetime benefits. Visit or call Star General Health and Life Insurance today.
Pegged as the most dynamic ever, the 24th annual Grand Bahama Business Outlook, slated for next Thursday, March 16th, will bring together that island's highly knowledgeable industry leaders, keen on discussing the developments being considered or on the way. Keynoter is Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, will speak on the topic Forward, Upward, Onward, Together, a bold vision for Grand Bahama. Other speakers include the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxey. There will be 2 special panels, dialogue and collaboration. Grand Bahama's Business Outlook takes place at the Grand Lucayan Resort. It's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. We're under mostly cloudy skies after the passage of a frontal system this afternoon. The temperature at 75 degrees. Relative humidity 69%. The winds are out of the northeast at 14 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,016.3 millibars. That's 30.03 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 77 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Greenville, Key, and Marshall, Babaco, the Berry Islands, and Alice Island, Bimini, also 77. 77 again in Harbor Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 78 degrees. Black Point, Exuma, and Kemp Space on Andros at 79. Fresh Creek, Central Andros, 78 degrees. 77s in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 78. Another string of 78s in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands, Matthew-Town, Nagua, 79, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 78 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. For all areas tonight, the winds are going to be northeast at 15 to 20 knots. The wave height's 4 to 6 feet over the ocean, so caution flags are in place for your boaters in the northwest, central, and southeastern islands. High tide, that will occur at 8:36 tonight, and then tomorrow in the northwestern parts of our country, northeast winds, they will be decreasing. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. However, there will be some moderate swells. So boaters are still exercise caution in the northwest Bahamas. Tomorrow, the high tide, that will take place at 8:51 in the morning with the low tide at 3:05 in the afternoon. And for the central and southeastern islands, northeast winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet, once again with moderate to large easterly swells. And on Friday, for the northwestern parts of our country, those winds start rotating clockwise, becoming southeast at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights once again 2 to 4 feet, but those moderate swells will continue right through the weekend. The high tide will occur at 9:26 in the morning with the low tide at 3:38 in the afternoon on Friday. And for the central and southeastern islands, easterly flow 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. that's going to do it for your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Extended weather forecast is still ahead.
You got no thing.
That work? Can you see me?
Yeah, it's working. This is super cool. Are you gonna help me clean up your toys?
Delivery.
Be right there.
Hello?
Am I gonna get it or are you gonna get it? I'll get it.
I get it.
Hey, thank you. Come on.
Hey, can I help you? Hey.
No, sorry, I'm not home. I'm coming.
Hey, Queen.
Hey, Queen. Hey, Queen.
Sister.
Girl, you've done it again.
You are constantly raising the bar for all of us and doing so flawlessly.
You do know that you're that girl, right?
I hope that when you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, you see how divine you are.
Know that so many people want what you got.
You have dreams to fulfill and promises to yourself that you must keep.
I know at times you feel underappreciated and misvalued.
Trust me, we've all been there.
So it's necessary that you can count on yourself.
So don't go seeking perfection.
Extend yourself a little grace.
Don't be afraid to celebrate the little wins as much as the big ones.
You, Miss Thing, are courageous. You are dynamic. You are principled.
So, baby girl, remember, respect is a minimum.
There's a sweet justice in knowing that the path you're on was designed for you and you alone.
Doing right by yourself never goes out of style.
Everything about you is majestic and a force to be reckoned with.
Trust me, people are paying attention.
You are special and worthy of praise. Don't shy away from it.
You don't have to get your groove back, because guess what? You never lost it.
It's important to rest. Make sure your hustle doesn't get in the way of your health.
Girl, take care of yourself.
And the next time you want to second guess yourself, don't do it.
So pause for a second right now.
Relax, relate, and release.
You are needed. You are appreciated.
Girl, you make me so proud. And I love you.
Remember, you are 100%
that queen.
Oh, yes.
Persistent, powerful,
compassionate,
resilient, inspiring. Be strong and persistent, stand your ground, and never let anybody dim your light.
Be confident, be powerful, and take a stand on whatever issue that you see in this country that you want.
The sky is the limit. Believe that you can achieve and excel.
Well, be true to yourself. Love one another, love God, respect one another, and the world will be a better place.
My message for women is to continue being an inspiration, continue to stand strong in the face of adversity, and to continue being a strong advocate for change.
Wishing you all a happy Women's Day filled with joy and laughter.
Wishing all the powerful women a very happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day. Let's continue to shine and excel.
Happy Women's Day to all the trailblazing women who paved the way for future generations.
I want to wish all the amazing women in the Bahamas and all around the world a happy International Women's Day.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Oh, welcome to your Wednesday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports news. Well, March is here, and that can only mean one thing: March Madness. Several Bahamian Division I Hoopers gearing up to lead their teams to the big dance as Monday marked the start of Conference Championship Week. Up first, Sammy Hunter and Garvin Clark and their Akron Zips hope to lock up their second straight NCAA tournament bid with a MAC tournament title. The Zips are 21-10 on the season and are the third seed in the MAC tournament and will face number 6 Buffalo at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. Hunter, the starting forward, is averaging 8 points under 3 rebounds per game. However, in his last 2 games, he's posted career-high scoring numbers on both nights, dropping 25 in a win against Ball State and 26 in a loss against Kent State. Clark, who has recently returned from injury, is averaging just under 3 points per game. Over in the Big East, 2 freshmen gearing up for their tournaments as well. St. John's guard A.J. Storr and his Red Storm will take on the Butler Bulldogs in the opening round of the tournament today. The Johnnies are 17-14 on the year and are the 8th seed. Storr averaging just under 9 points on 44% shooting from the field and took home 2 Big East Freshman of the Week honors so far this season. Receiving a bye today will be Frederick King and his Creighton Blue Jays, who entered the Big East tournament as a 3 seed, going 20-11 on the year and currently sit at number 24 in the AP poll. The Blue Jays were a top 5 team early on this season before being hit with the injury bug. Nonetheless, they hope to dance deep into March. King, a 6'10" freshman forward, is averaging 4 points and just under 3 boards on 61% shooting from the field. Ramad Dean and his Fordham Rams enter the Atlantic 10 tournament as a 3 seed and get a bye into action tomorrow. The Rams are 24-7 on the season and hope to make the big dance for the 5th time in school history. Here at home, the UB Mingos took on the Great Whites in MPBA action. The first quarter, Theo Grant to Delano Ambrista for 3. It was 1 of 4 for him on the night. The Mingos up 7-4. Mingos fast break here. Aquante Edgecombe with the dunk. He had 11 on the night. Game tied at 22. Justin Burrows in the second quarter hands it off to Ambrista for another 3. He had a game-high 24 points. The Mingos go up 30-24. Theodore Grant then inside to Gabriel Stiles for the mid-range jumper. Grant had 9 assists. The Mingos go up 32-24. Ambrista still in the second quarter thinks about the 3, but hands it off to Justin Burrows. Burrows with the lucky roll. Mingos end the half 38-33. And in the fourth quarter, Edgecombe with the pass to Stiles for the dunk. Stiles came off the bench for 17 points as the Mingos would go on to win 81-64. And the University of the Bahamas is looking for the next big athletic star this weekend in Grand Bahama. The men's soccer team, men's basketball team, and women's volleyball team will be recruiting athletes this weekend at St. George's Gym. The women's volleyball program is on the rebound, and head coach Raymond Wilson says he's not only looking for the diamond in the rough, but an all-around student athlete.
We at the University of the Bahamas, we're looking at also recruiting the next generation of professionals, persons who have a desire to become doctors, lawyers, accountants, educators, and we are going to Grand Bahama, yes, to look for good athletes who can increase and strengthen our program, but we're looking for persons who can strengthen our professional arena in regards to the Bahamas.
And in our latest installment of our week-long series on legendary Bahamian boxing figure Ray Minus, we hear from a pair of boxers whose lives he's greatly impacted. More in this report.
As we wrap up our series on the interview with the boxing champ Ray Minus Jr., we'd like to thank his family for making this all possible and bringing awareness to the ALS disease. As for Ray Minus Jr., he coached a lot of the country's top boxers: Toriano Johnson, Jermaine Chuchu Maki, just to name a few, Misha Major, and he also coached a lot of these up-and-coming boxers that are still in the ring today. We had a chance to speak with 2 of his prodigies, Kishno Major and Valentino Knowles.
He was more like a father figure in my life. He showed me the definition of actually pushing yourself to the next level. He was one of the latest coaches I ever came in with. There's times that I was at the break where I thought I couldn't do it no more, I couldn't go no more. And he was right there, literally pushing me on my back, literally pushing me on my back, go, go, go.
From amateur boxer to now national amateur coach, Knowles indicated that Ray has been in his life from the tender age of 8.
I can remember his gym was situated right next to Ryan Macri Primary. After schools, I would be walking home, sometimes taking some shortcuts. And I remember passing at his home. He had a ring set up in the front of his gym. And when we would pass by, we would just want to do some wrestling and thing inside the ring and jumping in the ring. And he was like, hey, none of that. You ain't gonna break up the ring.
If you had to do it all over again, would you take up a career in boxing?
Definitely. I just enjoyed it. And it really built me into a person who really wants to be back.
If you look at it, you look at the condition in which you blame it on boxing, or you just you're happy with the way boxing treated you?
No, I don't. I didn't. No, everybody, I think, did well to help me go forward. I believe that I did the best I could myself. And I don't think I needed to reach out to anybody. Just do what you got to do. And that's it.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Shopping online isn't new to the market, but gaining access to affordable healthcare products at the click of a button is the greatest customer experience. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited gives access to a complete customer journey, from shopping in our retail store on 9th Terrace, Centerville, to shopping online at your convenience from work or from the comfort of your home. Offering delivery and pickup options. Remember, if it's healthcare, it's here. Shop online today.
March into your favorite Super Value and Quality Supermarkets location for great specials like Country Barn Mayonnaise, 30 ounce, $3.75. Amerlander Milk, assorted 1 liter, $2.49. Hillandale Eggs, extra large, 1 dozen, $4.29. Jamestown Bacon, 16 ounce, $4.99. Fresh ground beef, $4.99 per pound. Donate your change to help feed Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Independent, ambitious, courageous,
phenomenal,
strong,
nurturing, supportive, and very protective.
dedicated, loving, and focused.
Brave. Women are very ambitious, and women are exceptional.
Always go there and be yourself.
Encourage and be strong, and fight for a woman's right. To always strive for the best. Always stand tall. To always remember that we are the prize. We are queens.
Don't be scared to enter a world, quote unquote, that it's a man's world. As long as you can do the job and you can prove yourself and your integrity, take it on, take the challenge on, and prove yourself. My advice to women on this International Women's Day, put God first, front and center of your lives. Always strive for excellence and always do your best.
Happy
International Women's Day.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, our satellite picture showing some low-level clouds pushing towards the southeast, and that's associated with that frontal system which went through this afternoon, bringing some much-needed rains, which we have not seen for several weeks. And our forecast for tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy to cloudy, very mild tonight with a low temperature of 68 degrees, and tomorrow, a bit breezy, still pleasant, with a mixed bag of clouds and sunshine. The high temperature tomorrow just around 76 degrees, and your extended weather forecast is going to be pretty much okay tomorrow. But come Friday afternoon, we'll see some showers work its way back into our forecast. The reason for that, there's another frontal system that will push through on Saturday. You'll see heavy cloud cover on Saturday with scattered showers and maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. But that will push those temperatures once again back into the 60s over the weekend. And then on Tuesday of next week, we have yet another frontal system pushing through the area, and that will bring some nice cool temperatures as we head into the middle part of next week. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Everyone has a legacy to